All right, let's cut through the noise on a topic that's been debated for generations, Puerto Rico's political status. It's a conversation just steeped in history, so many different visions out there. For this deep dive, though, we're really honing in on one specific long-term vision. It's laid out by Pablo Jose Hernandez Rivera. He's currently the president of the Popular Democratic Party, the PPD, and also the resident commissioner in Washington. And our insights today, they're pulled straight from a message he gave on the 73rd anniversary of the Estado, Libre, Asociado. You probably know it as the Commonwealth. And also from a pretty revealing interview he did with El Nuevo Dia.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I think, is that Hernandez Rivera isn't really proposing quick fixes, not immediate political maneuvers. He's articulating something much more strategic, a multi-phase plan. His central aim is, well, to define a new route for autonomism. And by autonomism, we mean seeking greater self-governance, but within the existing U.S. relationship, so distinct from independence or statehood. And he starts by focusing on what he sees as the crucial first step, proving Puerto Rico's capacity for self-governance, directly to the White House, to Congress.
So he's basically saying, let's show we can govern ourselves before we even ask for more autonomy. That sounds like a very long game, especially now. What are the big risks he faces with a timeline like that? And he also brings up PROMESA, the law, and the Fiscal Oversight Board. The JSF calls them retrogressions. Why are they seen as such a setback for this autonomous idea?
It's a really significant point he makes. He openly acknowledges PROMESA, the federal law that put the financial board in place and is guiding Puerto Rico out of bankruptcy. He sees it as a major retrogression, meaning it actually stripped away some of the governmental autonomy Puerto Rico had before. It was, in his view, definitely a step backward for self-governance. And this whole emphasis on proving capacity before pushing for status, well, it's really noteworthy, especially given the loud calls for immediate status resolution from, other political groups on the island.
Right. It makes his strategy seem quite distinct, maybe even riskier.
It could be, but he seems to firmly believe autonomism can be improved, significantly improved, by sticking to three core principles: economy, identity, and democracy. He envisions a stronger economy, naturally, for self-sufficiency, a reinforced cultural identity to sort of unite people, and a more transparent democracy to build trust, both at home and, crucially, externally.
That makes sense. Build the foundation first. Okay, so what does this all mean for the immediate future, then? He sounds pretty emphatic, saying he won't advance or change anything until PROMESA actually concludes, stressing this crucial period needed to rebuild credibility. He argues, basically, that neither Congress nor any president will admit Puerto Rico as a state or grant more autonomy if there's even a hint that better governance hasn't, really taken root post-PROMESA. He proposes what sounds like a remarkably realistic approach, saying whatever is presented must have congressional approval.
Exactly. He's acknowledging the reality that any path forward, statehood, or more autonomy ultimately needs that green light from Washington. Moving beyond the internal debates that have often, let's face it, stalled progress. He wants to avoid what he calls the eternal debate, just pushing for statehood via plebiscite first, without laying that groundwork, that credibility. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, he lays out three pretty distinct phases for his strategy. First, successfully exiting PROMESA. Second, comprehensively recovering governmental credibility. And only then, third, actually requesting greater autonomy.
A very sequenced approach, then,
yes,
step by step. And I notice he doesn't favor free association. He views it as a form of independence. That's quite a key distinction, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Free association involves a compact sovereignty, but with ongoing ties like defense. He doesn't see that fitting his vision for a permanent union. He sees the current ELA, the Commonwealth, as really the only option, by inertia and by elimination is how he puts it. But crucially, he wants it to be an option with future and hope. He emphasizes this permanent union with the U.S. while actively driving changes to the relationship as it stands. And he also sees this as a truly long-term vision. He says he doesn't foresee the JSF leaving before 2028. And that 2028 timeline for the JSF, it's not just a prediction, it directly impacts his own potential run for governor. It forces him to play an even longer game than maybe many politicians are usually willing to.
Okay, so for you, our listener, here's something to think about. In a world that seems full of immediate political demands, short-term cycles, what are the inherent strengths, maybe the challenges too, of a political strategy that consciously prioritizes this long game, focusing on internal governance, on credibility, before demanding external recognition or the status change? What stands out to you as the most impactful part of this long-term vision?